How is a good everyone? Today I'm here with another classic review for you guys. Of course, courtesy of the WWE Network for WWF In Your House 14 Revenge of the Taker. Before we get into the review, I'd like to thank you guys once again for all the feedback you guys have been leaving me for these classic reviews. Definitely lets me know you guys enjoy this type of content, and that's definitely encouraged me to, put more of it out for you guys. So like I said, thank you guys once again for your guys' feedback on these classic review videos. Definitely makes me, happy, and like I said, makes me happy you guys are enjoying these content videos. So I just want to thank you guys once again. But yeah, of course, In Your House 14 Revenge of the Taker was the first show after WrestleMania 13, and overall I gotta say I thought it was a pretty mediocre show. It was only 5 matches, but it really is only 2 matches worth checking out. The first 3 matches are pretty bad, and the last 2 matches, of course, the main event matches, the only things that are really worth going your way to see. So yeah, not WWF's best work, but for it was, hour and 50 minutes, it was easy to sit through. Nothing really to complain about, but yeah, just like I said, I thought it was a mediocre show. Of course, the first match we had to open up was the WWF Tag Team Championship match. Owen, Hart, and the British Bulldog defending against the Legion of Doom. This was an okay match to open the show. There really wasn't much to it. It was very basic wrestling. The only impressive thing that really happened in the beginning was Bulldog suplexing Hawk, kind of staring him down. During the middle of the match, they showed a clip backstage of Stone Cold Steve Austin arriving at the arena, which would lead into some segments during the show, which I thought played greatly into the main event. So Austin arrived at the arena happened. LOD had a comeback against Owen Hart and the British Bulldog. Hawk had a nice hot tag at one point as well. I thought it was very, very well done. And LOD ended up getting the victory after hitting a power slam off the second rope for the 1-2-3. So they became the WWF Tag Team Champions until the decision was reversed because they announced that because they pinned the British Bulldog, Owen Hart was a legal man, so therefore the pin didn't count. So it was just a whole bunch of stupid shenanigans. So the match restarted. Owen and Bulldog worked over LOD. Were very dominant. Hawk once again a hot tag, and then LOD ended up hitting the Doomsday Device, but Bret Hart ended up coming out, which came out very oddly because the referee clearly stopped and didn't count the pin, and then started counting as soon as Bret got in the ring. I thought it was very stupid the way it played off, but DQ finish. Like I said, the match could have been better. On paper it sounds great, but really nothing came out of it. Then afterwards, Bret and Bulldog bragged afterwards in an interview that they beat LOD, and then they actually ended up beating Stone Cold Steve Austin up backstage later on the show. So I thought that played greatly into the storytelling of why that was the main event instead. They ended up changing storyline wise Bret and Austin to the main event, so that way they gave Austin time to heal from the beatdown from Bulldog and Owen. So I thought that was a great little touch they added on. But yeah, that was a alright match to open the show, like I said. From there we go to the Intercontinental Championship. Maivia defending against Savio Vega. Very boring match, nothing but holds, and really nothing at all happened. This is just to build tension between Savio Vega and the Nation of Domination. Rock hit a rock bottom, and then Savio rolled out. Rock went to the outside to get him, and then ended up hitting Crush, and then Crush ended up hitting the Hart chop or whatever the fuck thrust it was. Ended up knocking out Rocky, and Savio Vega wins the match via countout, but because obviously won via countout, does not win the championship. So good job there, Crush, for fucking Savio Vega's opportunity up. Then Automatic Johnson came running down, accepting the Gauntlet match challenge for the next In Your House show. So really nothing good came out of that. Very boring match, and a segment afterwards that no one gave a shit about. From there, speaking of not giving a shit, we go to Jesse James taking on Rockabilly, of course. Jesse James, Road Dogg, taking on Rockabilly, Billy Gunn. Terrible match. Really wasn't much to it. A lot of just them doing absolutely nothing. The only thing that really happened was a missed Stinger Splash by Rockabilly, and then Road Dogg countering a suplex into a small package to get the 1-2-3. So Jesse James defeats Rockabilly. Like I said, just terrible match. And then we go to the WWF Championship Match, The Undertaker taking on Mankind. This was a very good match here. Definitely doesn't compare to most of their matches, but I feel like this was a really good brawl and some good storytelling, especially, for the whole purpose of Undertaker and Paul Bearer. They definitely built great stuff in terms of building up for Kane's debut later on that year. But it was great. Taker came out, threw the championship in the ring, and ran in to take on Mankind. Taker is very dominant, working on Mankind for a good while. They brawled into the crowd, which I thought was great. Mankind took some nasty bumps on the outside. Just the shit that guy takes, man, it still makes me cringe watching it back. But so Mankind was taking some vicious bumps, like I said. Ref bump happened at one point, so that that happened. Taker got his head smashed by Mick Foley I forgot what he picked up, but he picked up something, smashed in Taker's head, then ended up hitting Taker the few chair shots, which how he didn't get DQ'd is beyond me, but the ref decided not to DQ him. Undertaker drop kicked some steps into Mankind's face when he picked him up, which led to an awesome bump, by the way, which Taker just railed Mankind's steps, and Mankind flew off the apron and went head first into the announce table, and like half his body, like he went through the announce table. He didn't break the table, like he actually went through it, where like his legs were sticking out of the table. It was awesome bump. I don't know how I've never seen that bump before in my life, but it was awesome. I absolutely loved that bump. And Taker in the pinning with a choke slam, followed by a tombstone for the 1-2-3 to retain the WWF Championship. Like I said, that was a very good match. It doesn't compare, like I said, to some of their other matches, but this is definitely a very good showing from both men. Then afterwards, they did a whole botch thing where Mankind was supposed to light a thing in Taker's face, and then Taker's supposed to shove it in Paul Bearer's face, but Mankind fucked it up. Taker just said fuck it, grabbed it, and then blew it up in Paul Bearer's face to light his face on fire. So I thought that was great. The botch was funny, but they made up for it at least. Then, of course, go to the main event, which was a #1 contenders match for the WWF Championship. Bret the Hitman Hart taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin. This, of course, was their third match. Of course, their first two matches taking place at Survivor Series 96 and then WrestleMania 13 the month prior, which both were fantastic matches. I think their Survivor Series match is very underrated. That's just as good as WrestleMania 13 match, if you ask me, in terms of a technical standpoint. But this was the third match following those two, and definitely doesn't compare. It's definitely not in those two matches' league, but it's still a great match nonetheless. I definitely love the story with Bret working on Austin's knee, ripping off his knee brace and working on it. I thought that was a great story told by those two. And of course, they played a tug of war at one point with a steel chair, trying to use it against one another, but it didn't end up working out. There's a referee bump in this match as well, because WWF just loved the referee bumps back in the day. Bret was continuously working on Austin's legs, at one point blocking in a figure 4 on the ring post to add more pain to Austin's knee. And then, just working on his knee continuously. And then to the point where Austin tried to hit a pile driver, but his knee gave out, and Bret countered it into a suplex on Austin. Just really working on Austin's knee, and then Austin having some slight comeback, ended up blocking Bret with his own sharpshooter after his comeback. But then, Bulldog and Owen came out for the DQ finish, ended up attacking Steve Austin. So Stone Cold wins this match via disqualification, is the #1 contender for the WWF Championship, which of course that match took place at the next In Your House special, A Cold Day in Hell. But yeah, Austin wins match via DQ. They end up beating down Austin afterwards, but Austin takes upper hand, ends up crushing Bret's leg with a chair, and ends up sending the crowd home happy with Austin getting the upper hand. So yeah, that was definitely a great main event. Like I said, nonetheless, definitely out of the 3 matches, in that time area, it might have been 3 matches in general. I don't think they've ever had any more matches besides that. Maybe like on a Raw, but I can't think of any other Stone Cold Bret matches besides those 3. But yeah, great main event to, like I said, mediocre show. The first 3 matches are really not worth watching. They're actually bad, actually. And then of course the 2 main matches end up saving the show. So yeah, still, like I said, I still enjoyed it for what it was, even though it wasn't a great show. It wasn't a terrible show. So that's the only good takeaway I guess you can take from it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As like I said, I appreciate the feedback. Definitely makes me want to make more content for you guys, since you enjoy seeing it. So like, definitely, if you guys enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like below. And of course, the next time, I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching the video.